Hey everybody, today I'm gonna show you how we can use IBM Bob to build multi-agent system on Watsonx Orchestrate, where we build specialized agents which collaborate with each other and solve end-to-end agentic workflows. Let's get started talking about the architecture, how the agents looks like, and what agents are we planning to build. We'll be building a product IBM product specialist agent that acts as a supervisory agent, which should be able to capable of answering questions related to some of the IBM products. Here, the three IBM product which we are focusing is Watsonx.ai, which where we create a sub agent for Watsonx.ai, which uses its own internal tools to web crawl the IBM Watson X.ai website and gets the relevant information on the fly and answer any questions or execute any instruction given by the IBM product specialist agent. Similarly, we have two other agents and products which are capable of answering questions to those products. One is Cognos Analytics Agent and Orchestrate Watsonx Orchestrate Agent. The idea here is when the user asks any question related to Watsonx.ai or Orchestrate or question belonging to both product, IBM product specialist will plan accordingly, pass the instruction to the sub agents, collaborating agent, which internally uses the tools, get the information from the website, and an answer back to the user. This is what we are planning to build. Now let's move back to our Bob screen. Generally, before I start anything, I make sure my Watson Orchestrate documentation MCP servers are installed here. To do that, let me select the MCP servers from the top right. Once I do it, I search for Watson X Orchestrate. These are the two MCP servers we have. One is for ADK documentation and one is for Orchestrate ADK. So let me install the documentation first. I want to install it only on my project level. Let me do that. It's gonna take few seconds and it's ready. Let me install ADK as well. Here I need to mention the version 2.1.0. Once the version is ready, again I'm installing it only to the project level. Perfect. This is ready. uh, my MCP servers are ready. Let me quickly ask Bob, are you able to install, sorry, are you able to access Orchestrate docs MCP server? Most probably it's gonna do a quick test to access the MCP servers. Okay, so it's putting a query to MCP server. Getting started. Let's see if it gets the response. Yep, it says like, yes, I have full access to the documentation MCP servers. Perfect, which is great. Now what I'm gonna ask Grok is, sorry, what I'm gonna ask Bob here is, could you please create folder structure for building agents in Orchestrate? Let's see what Bob does here. Again, probably it's gonna put a request to MCP server from the documentation. It's gonna look for the best practices, how to create it. Looks like, yep, it came up with the instruction. Let me execute it. And Bob also came up with the readme file as well here. So the way Bob works is Bob takes some proactive steps, uh, and also focuses on the best practices or all the useful things, and it start building. For example, I asked it to build the folder structure, but it went ahead and created the readme file, and it's so proactive and intelligent and smart enough. For example, in the tools folder, it's creating a sample tools template, and in the agent folder it is creating sample agent template. It's so smart enough to identify and create those. So I'll let Bob create and complete it work. Let's wait. It's still going through creating those example tools, etc. Yep, it's also adding the requirement file as needed. If we observe, we have several folders here using Orchestrate, where we have several capabilities like creating agent, connection, evaluation, flows, knowledge, offerings, etc. But we don't typically need all those things. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask Bob to Bob keep only agents and tools folder and delete the rest. So perfect, it's gonna ask permission to execute the command. Let me hit run. Cool. So right now we have two folders, agents and tools. Let's see what we have inside those folders. Let me close all others. Okay, in agent we have like example agent. In tools we have simple example tools and multiple folders here. What I will gonna do is multi-file tool. I'm gonna delete that and keep it simple. Perfect, this is what we have. So our folder structure is ready to start building our agents. Now I'm gonna send an instruction, a detailed instruction, not too detailed. I'll still keep it on eye level. What I'm planning to do with Bob here. So I'm instructing Bob saying like I plan to build multi-agent system on Watsonx Orchestrate with specialized agent collaborating to automate end-to-end workflows. And I'm saying like I'm planning to build an IBM product specialist agent which should be capable of answering any questions related to three different products, that is Cognos, Watsonx Orchestrate, and Watsonx.ai. And further more instruction. Now I'm gonna give the instructions about the sub agent. I'm saying like there should be three sub agents and each sub agent represent three different products, and each sub agent should have the tools to do the web scraping and get the latest information, adding little bit of complexity here, saying like there are uh, tools should be used to web crawl IBM website for the latest information. Some of the tools may need to crawl multiple pages to get the desired information. And some instruction here, like every agent and tool you create, please add Bob underscore as prefix. And once this is done, I need to provide the information about the about the URLs. For example, I have Watsonx.ai. This is the product page for IBM, which is available in IBM.com. To get the information about Watsonx.ai, it has to, for the pricing information, it has to go to the pricing URL. If it wants to have the features, it has to go to the features uh, URL link for the Watsonx.ai. Similarly, we have different URL links for the Cognos and Watsonx Orchestrate, which I have previously collected, and just pasting those links so that our Bob can look into those URLs and create individual tools for each agent. Each agent do web crawling these URLs. So I have this instruction ready, and let me send it to the Bob, and let's wait for Bob to do his magic. Right now what it does is uh, it's planning, it's creating the plan, it's cleaning up the folder structure, etc. You can see some sample tools and agent which no longer needed. I would I would probably do it in a different way. Let's reject this and say like Let me cancel the task and terminate this. I would probably change to plan mode. I wanna change to I wanna change to plan mode and ask Bob saying like, can you please plan this? And I'm gonna paste my plan. This is the same prompt which I used previously. And let me send. Let's see what Bob does now. Yep. Bob says like, I will create a comprehensive plan for building multi-agent system on IBM Watsonx Orchestrate. Let's gather more information, context, etc. So it's putting a query to our MCP servers. I'll let that happen. So it's putting multiple queries, getting desired information, and at any given point if Bob has any questions, it's gonna ask for the clarifying questions, and once we respond, Bob intelligently understands and goes back and start building the stuff. So here what you're seeing is there's an implementation called plan.md file. It has a detailed plan how Bob is gonna build it. So best practice, or at least what something I follow, is at the beginning of the project I try to tend to create the right folder structures. Here the folder structure is super simple and straightforward. We have agents and tool. Once the folder structure is ready, I go to the plan mode in the Bob. I ask Bob to come up with the comprehensive plan. Generally, it comes with the comprehensive plan in Markdown language. Once that is ready, I review the plan. If I want any changes, I ask it to make some changes. And once the plan is ready, then I change it to the advanced or code mode and ask it to execute the plan. So here the plan is ready. Let's quickly review the plan. Here, this is the architecture. Looks good to me. Perfect. We have like several tools. Okay, so we have our product specialist agent, which uses llama model, which has three collaborating agents. We have Cognos analytic agent. We have three tools. We have Orchestrate agent. We have three tools for that, and we have Watsonx.ai, which have four tools, and each tool does the web crawling, uses request. Beautiful. So looks good. Only change which I want to make is, instead of using llama model, I want to switch to a GPT OSS model. I just want to do it to showcase that once the plan is ready, you can always discuss with the Bob and you can make changes to the plan. So let me do that. Let's switch model from llama to GPT OSS. Let's see what Bob does now. It's looking into the documentation. Perfect. I think it received the enough information it needed. It started making some changes to the plan. Let me go back, open it in the preview mode, and see if the model has been changed. As yes, model has been changed to GPT OSS 120 billion. This looks good. This plan looks good to me. I can ask Bob to go ahead and start implementing this, but let's wait. Okay, task is completed, model updates. Perfect. And it's asking like, are you ready for the implementation? Let me say like, yes, plan looks good, let's implement it. Once I do this, so it's gonna switch to the code mode. It has automatically switched to the code mode and started building it. So it started creating some tools, folders. I will let Bob do this. It's gonna follow the project plan implementation. It's gonna create several files, folders as needed, as per the plan. So it may take couple of minutes to generate all these files. let's wait for Bob to finish creating all the files and assets needed for building our multi-agent system on Watsonx Orchestrate. Okay, Bob has completed creating all the assets here. You can see in the agent we have like new files created within tools. We have like subfolders. In each subfolder we have different tools created, and asking to execute some command. Let me go ahead and execute, and it also came up with the cool readme with the diagram of the architecture and what these agents are doing here. So it says like it also gives us the report once it completed the task. Here is the report saying like IBM product specialized multi-agent system, completed components, created supervisor agents, sub agents. Let's review it. Which are web crawling, 10 web crawling tools, info features, shared utilities, web scraping utility is shared across all these tools, which is smart, and using a GPT OSS model. And this is the folder structure. Perfect, this looks good to me. And it's also giving us the commands to get started. What I'm gonna ask Bob instead is, Bob, could you please create deploy.sh file with all the commands, I would say all the orchestrate commands. I'll also pass more instruction like keep it super simple. So let's do this and let's see what Bob does. Perfect. So Bob started creating this shell script file. It's starting with importing tools, then agents, etc. Okay, this is ready. And again I said like Bob is smart and proactive. Since this is shell script, we may need to change the permission, and it's suggesting the command to execute to change the permission to executable for this shell script. So let me click run. The permission as change, and again once the task is accomplished, it will give us the report what it has done. So now Bob, using Bob with simple instructions, what with our plan, it's created the plan and it built all the assets needed. Now it's time to deploy. My Watson Orchestrate is already being configured here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure I'm in the right project here, and execute the deploy.sh command. Okay, so we got an error saying like when we are trying to import a tool, there is a module bs4 is missing. So most probably what would have happened here is in the requirement file the bs4 library must be conflicting, etc. So instead of debugging the library, what I would suggest Bob is, Bob, can you suggest any other alternative for bs4 for the web crawling? Or instead I could have asked saying like, Bob, I got this error while running the deploy.sh, can you fix it? It can also do that, but rather I want to go for the alternative approach. And you can see it's going through and coming up with the alternative approach here. I generally like the HTML parser, so let me ask a question. Can I use HTML parser instead? Perfect. So it agreed and it started making changes so that it uses simple HTML parser to web crawl the content from the IBM products website. It's making required changes, changing the requirement files for all the tools here. Perfect. That is ready. Now let me clear my screen and rerun the deployment script and see if it goes through. It failed again. It's still looking for BS4. This time let me copy paste the error and give it to the Bob. Bob, can you please fix this? And it also gives the explanation what's happening. It says like, I see the issue. ADK is trying to validate the Python code before importing and failing because Beautiful Soap 4 isn't installed in your local machine. You need to install dependencies first and update. Perfect. So it has made some changes here. But I did mention Bob to move away from BS4. Let me ask the same question. Bob, as I said earlier, keep it simple. Let's move away from BS4 module. Okay, looks like it understood it better and says like, let's simplify using Python built-in libraries, URL lib and HTML parser. This is what I'm looking for. Let's keep the web crawling simple. Web crawling can get complex, like parsing nested URLs, etc. But let's keep it simple for this demo. So it understood it's working, going through changing all those files. Let me close all the tabs. It's still working. It's coming up. Looks like it's almost there. It's going to every individual tool. That I think there are around 11 tools if I'm not wrong, and it's going to each tool and making those changes. Let's wait for Bob to finish. Okay, perfect. And yeah, let me run this command so that it's gonna remove the unwanted files. Okay, it's editing our deployment.sh script. Make sure it is aligning with the latest tools which have been created. Perfect. And it's also updating the readme file. Never mind. So let me clear my terminal and run the deployment.sh and see what's gonna happen now. Cool. It started importing the tools. You can see IBM Cognos tool info, feature, pricing. Similarly, now it's importing other tools, importing tools for Orchestrate, importing tools for X.ai, and now importing sub agents. It's smart enough because it will start with importing tools then sub agents, and then the primary agents. So you can see in step 5 it has imported our supervisor agents. Perfect. And it gives the deployment summary. There are total 10 tools which have been imported, 3 sub agents and 1 supervisor agent. So next step is, once this has been deployed, we need to log on to the Watsonx Orchestrate and see if all our tools are being imported correctly, and we can test it over there. Let me switch to Watsonx Orchestrate. Okay, this is our Watsonx Orchestrate platform. These are the agents, and as we run the deployment.sh, we could see the agent showing up on the Orchestrate. Let's get on to our product specialist agent. Let's review this. It has the profile, what exactly this does, and then I'm more interested in looking into the collaborating agents. Yes, it has 3 collaborating agents. This supervisory agent will talk to these collaborating agents and give us the answer related to these three products. And also behavior, it Bob has done a great job explaining the behavior of the supervisory agent. And at any given point, if you have if you have any questions or want to make changes, you can always go to the Bob and instruct Bob by sending the prompts, and Bob does most of the job. Now it's time to test our agent, supervisor IBM product specialist agent. Let me say hello. It comes up saying like, okay, if you are interested to know anything about Cognos analytics, Orchestrate, and X.ai, let me ask a question saying like, what is Orchestrate? So here it's thinking through. As per plan, as per the architecture, it has to talk to Orchestrate agent, get the enough information, and respond back. So let's see what it did. So here, yes, it did pass to Orchestrate agent, transferred it back. It invoked the tools, info tools, and feature tool from the Orchestrate, and it came up with the answer. Now let me ask a follow-up question. How is it different from Watson X.ai? So here it has to go talk to Watsonx.ai agent and come up with the answer. If you see, now it's giving us the table representation of comparing Watsonx Orchestrate and X.ai. I can still ask any follow-up questions saying like, can you please add Cognos analytics to the above table? Let's see if it can do that. Again, it goes to Cognos Analytics Agent, and yep, it goes to Cognos Analytic Agent, invokes the tools, info tool, and then comes back with the answer. So this is what the results look like. So let's conclude. Going back to our architecture diagram here, so far what we implemented is, we have IBM product specialist agent, we have 3 sub agents, tools, inbuilt tool which have been built, which are crawling to our website, IBM website, and coming up with the answers. Here everything is built by Bob. I would say 99% of the code has been written by the Bob. Most of the code is like error free. As you have seen, if there are some errors, Bob itself can go ahead and clean up and fix those errors. So very less hands-on experience, and Bob is smart enough to build the agents in the smart, right, and the best possible way. Thank you.